Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I am actually going to be starting today with, I'm sorry, but with a piece of sad news that I have to share with our community. There are many folks in the room I know who either knew personally, I can see here, or also who just got to know through our work here. A member of Jubilee Voices, Arthuretta Holmes Martin, passed on Sunday. And for those of you in the room who did know her or who do remember her, as we know, she was an energetic force, an amazing, beautiful singer, storyteller, and an activist extraordinaire. And she just did so much work in her life. And I'm actually going to have Ella, who's our internet Carpe Diem Arts, posting some links right now into the chat so that you can just learn a little bit more about Arthuretta or really think about two of the issues that she writes about. So there's a TED Talk with Arthuretta that will go into the chat where she talks about being a whistleblower when you are Black. And then there's another one that will go into the chat that specifically talks about issues of health care and being Black and how that changes your personal experience and your healthcare experience. So those are in the chat as well as Arthuretta's website. I'm going to ask that we just start today by taking a moment of silence. If we can all just join right now for a minute. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So when we sing today, we're going to be singing for Arthuretta Holmes Martin, beautiful, wonderful being, member of Jubilee Voices, friend to all of us in this room, and we will miss her greatly. I want to shout out Andrea Jones Blackford, who's the director of Jubilee Voices, who's listening in right now. And I want to shout out all the members of Jubilee Voices. Jim Harkless, I see that you're here today. I know that you've all just lost a really, really good friend, and we're all thinking about you. Lots of love to you all. And I'm going to turn it over to Elise so that she can greet you. I'm sorry again for starting off on a sad note, but it's nice while we sing the song that we know we're singing it for Arthuretta. Thank you so much, Elise, for being here today. Very glad to be spending another day with Alternate Roots and with you.
Greetings, everyone. As I sing your name, please call in the energy of Arthuretta and know that she's with us here today. And thank you so much for the Jubilee Voices for being with us as well. I want to say hello to Becky and Ann Strange in Knoxville, Marcia in Atlanta, and Deli and Mabel in Massachusetts. Hello to Hoda, hello to Susan in Seattle, hello Sarah in Texas, and Sheila and Jim of Jubilee Voices. I sing to you. Susan, hello, and Becky in Taos, New Mexico, Carol in Connecticut, and Arlene, Bonnie, and Luda in Victoria, Harriet in Illinois, and Barb in Virginia, Janet and Pete in Toronto, Storm, hello, you're here every day, and Sherry in New Hampshire. Welcome to Christiana and Bob, and Anne and Lynn in Connecticut, and Kat and Nancy with your beautiful cow. It's always so good to see pictures of nature. Hello, Kevin in New Hampshire. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Annette and Sue and Fred. Hello to Sherry and Caroline, Bob in Massachusetts, Carol and Ann in Blacksburg, Virginia. Hello, Susan in North Carolina. Hello, Karen and Ray, Martha and Ann, Joni and Andrea, Marcia, Adrian, Alan, Heberly, and Marnie in New York, Tom in Victoria, busy with Carpe Diem. Always good to have you with us. Greetings, everyone. Welcome today to day number 2 of Alternate Roots Week. I wanted to just let you know what Alternate Roots is from its mission statement. Alternate Roots is my artistic family that has nurtured and inspired me since 1978. It is made by knowing the artists in Alternate Roots. I have been able to figure out ways to be a musician for everything that I do in my life. So, Alternate Roots is a coalition of cultural workers based in the southern USA whose mission is to support the creation and presentation of all forms of original art rooted in a particular community of place, tradition, or spirit. We strive to be allies in the elimination of all forms of oppression. Roots is committed to social and economic justice and the protection of the natural world, and we address these concerns through our programs and services. So I'm so happy that we have Alternate Roots members with us today, Ann and Carol in Blacksburg. And especially today, I want to present to you our special guest, Nick Slie from New Orleans, Louisiana, from Cajun Country. Nick is an amazing artist. He's multidisciplinary. The first time I saw him, he was turning cartwheels and doing all kinds of physical comedy and amazing gymnastic work. He's a person who is always working in collective, always working in community. His main theater group is called Mondo Bizarro, but he also works with a project called Race Peace that has been going on for a long time. And we'll talk more about his work after he presents his song. So, everyone, this is Nick Slie. I'm so happy to have him here today. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Elise. Such a pleasure and honor to be here. Um, Man, it's always hard to follow Elise Witt singing, huh? That's beautiful. What a beautiful opening. And thank you for taking that time to honor. I was really moved to remember how many people we haven't had a chance to even honor yet. So it feels great to be in this space. Um, my name is Nick Slie. I'm calling from the Atchafalaya Basin today, which is a very large swamp in Louisiana. And I'm really happy because I just went fishing with my mama this morning, so I'm feeling real good. Um, this song is called We Gather Together, and it is brought to me by our very dear friends Carlton and Maurice Turner. Some of you will meet them on Friday. It's a song that we used for a very long,
Thursday.
I'm sorry, Thursday.
Thursday.
Um, there's some beautiful, beautiful actual brothers who have a group that I learned it when they had the group called Mugabe, Men Under Guidance Acting Before Early Extinction. And we would use this song, We Gather Together, as a way to open a space when we were doing work together and a way to close the space. So the first part, I understand on Zoom we can't learn multiple part songs. But this first part I'm going to teach you, we can use it as a moment to also just loosen up our bodies. We're sitting in these little squares, but if you want to move around a little bit in this beginning, it's a very rhythmic portion of the song, and it goes like this. We gather together, we gather together, dum 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 boom. We gather together, we gather together, dum 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 dum. We gather together, we gather together, dum dum dum. Stretch it. We gather together, we gather together, dum dum dum. Gather together, we gather together, dum dum boom. We gather together, we gather together. Yeah, so we're loose there. And that's a little what we usually do in the room is we put one crew of people on that bottom right there, and then you'll have to imagine how they layer together when you hear the next part. So the words to this song are in the chat for those of you who can see that. For those who don't like the chat, I'll just say them out loud one time, and we'll say them and then we'll sing them. And the words are, we gather together to share each other's hope. We gather together to share each other's love. We gather together to share each other's peace. And until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. And then we repeat that. So I'm going to sing. Let's see. I'll sing the first little section for you, and we'll learn that together because it's all on the same. So it goes, we gather together To share each other's hope, we gather together. To share each other's love, we gather together. To share each other's peace. So I'm going to start that again and we'll sing it, those three sections together again. So 1, 2, 3. We gather together to share each other's hope. We gather together to share each other's love. We gather together to share each other's peace. Great. How's that feel? Thumbs up? Y'all feel okay with that? Great. It's a pretty simple one. So the second part goes, and until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. We leave and share the energy. So let's try that one again. So 1, 2, 3. And until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. We leave and share the energy. Y'all good with that? Cool. All right, so we're going to sing the whole thing together,
I'm
okay?
seeing a couple, Nick, I'm seeing a couple people want to hear that second part again.
Oh, great.
Like,
Thank you for pointing that out.
yeah.
So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. Beat. We leave and share the energy. All right. So let's sing it 2 times through, and I think you'll feel the rhythm by the second time. And then Elise, if you want to take over, does that sound all right? We'll not take over the song, but I know we got to talk a little, and then we're gonna sing on the way out. So we'll
Perfect.
shoot for two times around.
Sounds
So
great.
here we go. 1, 2, 3. We gather together to share each other's hope. We gather together to share each other's love. We gather together to share each other's peace. And until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. We leave and share the energy. We gather together to share each other's hope. We gather together to share each other's love. We gather together to share each other's peace. And until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. We leave and share the energy. And we can go like, we gather together, we gather together, do, gather together, we gather together, dum, dum, boom, boom. Gather together, we gather together. Yeah, all right. We're good work.
Wow, that's the perfect song for today, you know? So perfect. Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. And thank you to Carlton and Maurice Turner, who you all will get to meet on Thursday. And maybe we'll have a moment in the middle where we can get them to sing this and do the harmony parts. I don't know, we'll see. So, yeah, Nick, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about the work that you're doing now and the work that has brought you to where you are. You want to talk a little bit about your company, Mondo Bizarro, and
Yeah,
take it away.
yeah.
Hmm.
I'm from Southeast Louisiana. My father was raised in New Orleans, and my mother was raised in the swamps and the bayous up the river from New Orleans. And so I've been very blessed to live in my ancestral and my creative home and to do work. And I definitely don't take that for granted. Some refer to this as Southeast Louisiana, some refer to this as Bulbamcha, or the place where many languages are spoken, which is the ancestral lands of the Chitimacha, the Choctaw, the Homa, the Attakapaw Ishak, and many other tribal nations. Um, Mondo Bizarro's been around for about 19 years. And yeah, we're celebrating 20 next year, which means we can almost officially go out drinking. Um, or join the military or something. But we're getting older, and basically our work is centered around stories. We listen a lot to people's stories. We make live original performances that are interdisciplinary, so they usually include musicians and visual artists and performers together in the room with people who are working on analogous issues that we're exploring in the world. So the live performance always intersects somehow pretty intentionally with people who are trying to make change. And that may look like people who are trying to do something very small in their neighborhood or very big, like a public policy. We also run a space called Catapult, which is a collective space for new performance and design. And we premiere our works in Louisiana, and a lot of times they'll tour around the country, connecting with other people who are doing this work at sort of like Alternate Route says, the intersection of art and social change. And so we've worked on a lot of different issues. Um, we did this project with Mugabe called Race Peace, where we were using artistic structures to talk about sort of the debilitating nature of racism. Um, we worked on that project for over 10 years. A project that someone may put in the chat was that we've done is called Cry You One,
Can you
which was
talk a
in
little bit more about Cry You One? Because it
yeah
was, I think it's pretty unusual and beautiful and moving.
yeah when they share the link for Cry You One, I also want to let you know that some of our recorded music is on that website. Um, Cryuwan was a 11-year project that it was an outdoor processional performance. So it was a 2.5-mile outdoor performance where we processed the audience into relationship with a lot of places where land and water sort of had a conflicting relationship together. Um, it was an outdoor processional performance. It was a musical concert. It was a public policy vehicle. We used salons and storytelling and art to impact and influence public policy, including the policy that was made with Obama's Restore Council for the BP drilling disaster. And then it became a documentary film. And so the whole moment was trying to use arts and culture to have people, we find that a lot of the people who are having conversations about the big issues of our home, like the coastal land loss and the extractive industries in our home, a lot of those people aren't close to the people who are most disproportionately impacted, if that makes sense. So really, the people who are feeling it the most are not the ones who are at the fore of the story. So we try to spend a lot of time bringing those stories to the forefront of the conversation. In this case, Cry One was about coastal and cultural land loss, because some of you may know that Louisiana is disappearing faster than most places in the known world because of coastal erosion. So our question is this: how do we use art and song and our bodies and stories, and especially celebration and food, to get people together and to have a dialogue about what we can do about it, and how we might want to meet this moment in time, which, to be honest, I think we're all facing. So
I thought it was really powerful that you took Cry You One, which was really based in Louisiana with the places where water and land meet, how so much land is disappearing, but you actually took it on tour to places like Berea, Kentucky, and up to Vermont, I think.
yeah.
And can you say just a teeny bit about how something that's so specific geographically can also be universal to other places?
Yeah, that's a great one. Louisiana exports very well. That's an interesting thing. Like a lot of people are very interested in Louisiana culture, so I do think that that helps. Um, but I think the more specific we've been with bringing our work to other places, the more universal it gets. And I think that's a big lesson for everything, like a great song. It's like we probably know more about the Dust Bowl through 3 songs than we do about any history about it. And so I think the power of the really specific art moment really opened things up for people in other places to see, oh yeah, even though this isn't my story, it says a lot about my home. And then the number one thing, Elise, that I think that was there was that when we take human ideas and we try to put them on top of dynamic natural things, there are consequences. And everywhere we went in America, from the Sonoran Desert to New Haven, Connecticut, people are dealing with this question of what's going to happen to the water. It was just a universal thing. So it really wasn't hard to find a way to talk about in every place how something's threatened, something's being lost. There's a line from Cry One written by Moose Jackson, and it says, "You can know this about any place. Someone loved it, someone lost it." And so, looking for the specificity, but the universal at the same time became an important part of it. But man, water, there's just like no way around it, you know? So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think one thing that does bring roots artists together, people are working on very specific, locally based stories. And then when we meet each other, we see the connection between,
yeah,
our stories. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you so much. Um, is there anything else you want to talk about before we do the song again? We had some people asking about Mugabe. So,
Yeah,
Mugabe stands for Men Under Guidance, Acting Before Early Extinction. And you'll hear more about that on Thursday when you meet Mugabe, which is Carlton and Maurice Turner, the brothers. So,
yeah.
a couple people asked about that. Anything else you want to mention about your work, Nick, before we sing some more?
Just one last thing to say about my very dear friends from Mugabe. You know, we started doing Race Peace not to try to solve the problem of like racism in the world, but we actually started it because we recognized a way in which our relationship might suffer if we didn't have deeper conversations intentionally about race. Because at the time we were a company of white identified people, and Mugabe is a company of African American men. That changed a lot and expanded. But I just want to say, like, sometimes this art stuff's way in the sky and it's policy and it's change. And sometimes it starts by just looking at your friend and saying, it would be real nice if we had a more loving and a deeper relationship together. And so I'm for the littlest action and the biggest one. And I think they all matter just the same. Like that moment of silence we took at the beginning. So yeah, that's it. I
Thank
feel so
Yeah,
we sing our way out, Elise.
we sing our way out. We do, we do.
Cool. All right, let's do it. So, one, two, three. We gather together to share each other's hope. Gather together to share each other's love. We gather together to share each other's peace. And until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. We leave and share the energy. And we'll do it like this. We gather together, we gather together, gather together, we gather together. We gather together. We're gonna go from the top one more time. We gather together. Here we go. We gather together to share each other's hope. We gather together to share each other's love. We gather together to share each other's peace. And until we meet again in whatever space and time, as we all leave, we share the energy. We leave and share the energy.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Nick Slie. Thank you,
Yes,
thank you, thank you. And thank you, everyone here on the wonderful Daily Antidote of Song. Thank you, Joe, for bringing it
yes,
all together and your whole team. Thank you, Ella, for being on top of all the tech. And thanks, everyone, for being here. Joe, is there anything you want to bring before I sing?
I will just say for anyone who came in late, we had a moment of silence at the beginning for Arthuretta Holmes Martin. There are links in the chat if you would like to learn more about her. I want to just note that we will be doing something again in the upcoming weeks that's a little with a little more pre-thought. And I do want to thank Nick for the exact right song for the day, and Elise for the beautiful hosting. Thank you so much, but to both of you for being here. And Elise, I would be delighted if you would close out the room.
I'd be happy to. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Becky, and especially to Jim. We are with you in so much love. Thank you, Susan and Hoda. Thank you for your beautiful hearts and being here and being so present. Thank you, Mabel in Massachusetts and Delhi, and Sheila in Florida, and Sarah in Texas, right there next to Louisiana, so you know what Nick is talking about. Thank you, Susan in Seattle. Becky, who writes so many beautiful songs about water and our need to honor water. And hopefully, Becky will be sharing a song sometime soon here on the Daily Antidote of Song. Y'all need to look up her music. Thank you, Carol from Connecticut, Janet and Pete in Toronto, Storm and Luda in Victoria, Bonnie and Arlene in California, Barb in Virginia, Christian and Bob, and Anne and Nancy, Fred and Annette. Let me see about these pages. I've got to move along. How about Anne in Nashville and Susan in New York, in North Carolina, my home state. How can I mix it up with New York? But I did live in New York State when I was a little girl. And Anne in Nashville, Tennessee. And now I see my dear friends and Roots members, Carol Birch Brown and Ann Kilkelly, master tap dancer. And Bob in Massachusetts, Phil in Devon, and Suzanne and Sherry in New Hampshire, Caroline, Michelle and Steve, Kat in Vermont and Cricket, Lynn in Connecticut, Harriet in Illinois, and Amos and Ray and Sue and Ann Strange in Knoxville, Tennessee, Jane in Maryland, and Alan, Marcia, and Busy always with us from Carpe Diem Arts, helping to sustain this whole program, and Marnie in New York City, and Kachina. I hope I got everyone, because you are all always welcome here at the Daily Antidote of Song. Thanks again to the fabulous Nick Slie. I can't wait till I get to hug him in person, and I can't wait especially to meet the amazing Joe Rozzi. I want to be right in that room where it says welcome and hug her because she is so marvelous. Thank you, Daily Antidote of Song. Thank you, everyone. So happy to be here together and share this moment together. Yes, Arthuretta.